In this video, we're going to give you some design tips on how to take different design of the day files and combine them and create something new and different. And so in this video, we're going to show you how to create a design similar to this. So it's pretty simple if you understand a few basic functionality here inside CorelDRAW. So this is the file that we're going to be working with. So let's just peel that over here and copy that. We'll get rid of our swoosh and these details as well, and then we're just left with that. Now, the other day we posted a design of the day that looked like this. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to borrow this whole file. So we're just going to copy and go to our window menu and flip over to our other document and paste. And there is our other part of our design. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete my weed box, and I'm going to delete this white part of the design that we can't see. What we need is just this center portion, but if you look at the way we created this file, we have this top part and this bottom part is part of our frame. So here's all we need to do. We need to grab our 2-point line tool and just drag a little line from node to node. And then we'll come over here and drag a little line from node to node. And then we'll come up here and drag a little line node to node. And drag a little line from there, node to node. Now anyone can do that. That's pretty simple, basic stuff. Now, what if you don't have snapping turned on? Well, to turn snapping on where you can snap from node to node, you want to go onto the view menu and choose snap to, and you have all these different options. But now that we have those little lines, the reason that we drew those little lines is we've created a container for a very powerful tool here in CorelDRAW called Smart Fill. And if you have our custom toolbar installed, you can access Smart Fill right here. And if you don't have our custom toolbar installed, you should. It's a free download on the website. So just come in here, click on your Smart Fill tool, and click, and you can see that we have a new color, a new frame. So we're going to take that new frame, hold our Shift key, and select our yellow portion and drag that over here. So now we have that separated. So we don't need this anymore. We can just dispose of that. So our new piece that we just created with the Smart Fill tool, however, does have a black outline, which we can right-click, and that will get rid of any outline properties on your objects. So now what we will do here is we will just resize this to fit our football however we want it to fit. So if I'm happy with that, I'm gonna just group. I have Easy Stone, so I'm just gonna use it. Hit G for group. We could hit Control G on our keyboard too. So I've grouped the blue and the yellow together. Hold my Shift key and select the bottom part of our football and hit C for center, and that will center things left to right. Let's go ahead and delete that now. So now that I have that centered left to right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a rectangle. So I'm just going to come in here and create a rectangle like this. And what we're doing here is we're creating basically a cookie cutter, if you will. Notice where this rectangle goes through. See these parts? In fact, if I go to wireframe, you see these fangs that are inside this rectangle? Well, what I'm going to do is I have my rectangle selected because I just created it. I'm going to hold my Shift key and select the top and hit trim. And see how that fang gets trimmed away? And so I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I have my rectangle selected, Shift key, trim. So I've trimmed that back as well. So I make sure I have my rectangle selected, trim the bottom part, and now I've trimmed all that back, and now let's go back to the enhanced mode here. We don't need our rectangle anymore. So let's go ahead and just hit the delete key and delete that. So now we've trimmed that away, but now what I want to do is I want to weld my frame to the top part of my basketball here. And now you see what happened? Actually everything turned gray, and that's because the yellow part is grouped to the blue. So I need to right click and ungroup and then weld the two together. And then to do the same thing to the bottom. And one more over here. This is not welded yet. So let's weld it. Okay, so now everything is welded together. Now everything is one piece, as you can see. So now that's taken care of. So now it's just a matter of adding the extra elements. I'm just going to grab a font. Now this is a brand new computer setup here, so I don't have a lot of fonts installed. So I'm just going to type out the word Hawks. And let's see here. What do we want to do? Well, let's just do, I don't think it really matters for this demonstration. We'll just do something. That's kind of a cool font. So let's just go with that. And if you have Easy Stone, what we would do is you have your text and your this yellow shape. The reason we provide that yellow shape is so we can do an easy envelope. So you have your text and this yellow shape. Hold your Shift key, grab your font manager, and choose the text to envelope option. Boom. It places everything perfectly. You're good to go with one click of the mouse. And then, of course, we wouldn't need this yellow piece. Or, like I did in mine, I actually utilized the yellow piece. So I did a little variation. So watch what we're going to do. We're going to undo this a couple steps. What I did is I used this as a backdrop. So what I'm going to do is apply a little bit of a contour to this. Right click to break the contour group apart. Then let's go ahead and give it some weird color. Let's go ahead and do the text to envelope again here. And then we can delete this. And then we'll actually use that blue shape as part of a design element. So maybe we want to do something like this. So let's go ahead, let's throw a weed box around it. And then this, I don't know, maybe we'll just do something like that. And then just to add some extra visual interest, what I did in my examples, I drew a skinny little rectangle. I centered it vertical. And then I'm just going to trim. And so you can take a basic font and add a little bit more visual interest that way, just by making a little trim or something like that. And then what I did was I added a number. So let's just go ahead and choose this collegiate number here. So let's go ahead and make it a color here. Let's bring it over here. Bring it right over here. And we'll resize it accordingly. We'll center it up. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to apply a contour to it, like so. Right click and break the contour group apart. And then I can use that new shape as a trim. And we'll trim the two together. And then we can delete that. Let's see what happened here. Should be able to trim that back. There we go. And then we can delete that outline. And then what I did just to kind of clean it up is I deleted this stuff here in the middle. Decided we didn't need that. Okay? So that basically is what we want to do. So let's go ahead and change that. I'm going to go ahead and change that to white as well. I'm going to go ahead and delete this little piece of my A here. Decided I don't need that. I think this would look better, and these are all little things that if you learn how to do it, it'll be really nice for you to make these little adjustments. So like here with the S, I don't like the way this is split. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break that apart, and then I'm just going to take this and drag it up here and drag that up there and weld these two pieces together. So that gets rid of that extra line there, and the A looks fine, and yeah, I think the rest of it looks okay just the way it is. And there's one last little thing I want to show you here, and that is to go and personalize it. Let's go ahead and let's type out, I don't know, let's just type out Williams, for example. So we'll go ahead and apply, we'll give it Arial black. We'll go ahead and change it to white. But all I'm going to do is grab my shape tool and select my text, and then I can make my text wider like that. And I think that looks good. So then we'll go ahead and reposition it. And there you go. You have a really nice looking custom design. It only takes a few minutes to do once obviously you have your CorelDRAW skills all honed. But it's pretty easy to take different bits and pieces of designs, and that's really where, to me, where the power of that Design of the Day membership comes into play, is when you have so many designs, you can take bits and pieces from them and combine them, and make something totally new that not everyone has, just the basic stock design. once you have a little bit of CorelDRAW knowledge. So anyhow, that's how we created that variation of those two design of the day designs, bring them together. And like I said, it's a pretty simple little project once you know what you're doing. Thanks for watching.